This is the spoilers section. If you don't want spoilers, turn away. We're discussing Total Recall, and all right, here it is.
It's Recall.
All right, I've been over this. It's not as obvious as I actually think it should have been, to the point that when we were walking out of the theater...
Yeah, it was... I was disappointed. I thought they didn't play up on it enough. Maybe they just decided halfway through, hey, we just want it to be a movie. But the more I thought about it 10, 20, 30 minutes later, I realized that a lot of the plot lent itself to the idea that this was, in fact, a dream or a fantasy.
Not just a little of the plot, all the plot. Basically, there are 3 or 4 main reasons to say it's Recall, and there's no question about it. I'd say the strongest one, camera work. I said before that the first half was really, really detailed and that there were some wonky scenes. Well, as you watch, the first half is really detailed. A lot of emphasis is placed on character interaction and all of that. Once the fantasy starts, more and more of that drops out until by the end, the scenes, well, they look actually like those fake action scenes in commercials that just don't really have the refinement, or, as dreams. Hey, it's there.
Yeah. Number 2 is the plot itself. I mean, the thing you have to look at, you have to look beyond the surface of this film. What is it that Quaid wants from his life at the beginning? He's disgruntled. He doesn't like having to travel from the colony to the UFB because it actually has jobs. When he's at the UFB, he doesn't like that members of that country are stealing his job, which he thinks is rightfully his. And fourth, the novel that we see him reading is a James Bond novel about being a super spy. So what happens when he actually realizes he's a spy? Well, he's the only person who can save the world. Well, at the end of the movie, when the major transit system is destroyed, the newscasters say it's a major symbol of oppression. Well, that's never stated before. We know it's a major symbol of oppression to Quaid, but that's really it.
And of course, the UFB turns out to be hideously evil. And again, yeah, he's the one and only person. Everyone looks up to him. He's the center of attention. He gets the girl. And it all meshes up with either what you can extrapolate that he wanted out of his life, or with what was actually supposed to be in the dream sequence. So, I would say that if I had...
Oh, sorry, one more thing. The ending also lends itself to the idea, because if you look at the way that the 2 colonies were set up, the colony was dark, but it was colorful. UFB was bright, but stark. At the end of the movie, when they're showing the shot of the colony, it's prosperous, it's bright, it's colorful, and oh, by the way, Recall, which was located in a red light district, now has a skyscraper with a giant Recall billboard on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, really the movie is, if you're paying attention, broadcasting that it's Recall. And it's not one of those where there's a question. But you have to be paying attention. If I had any complaint, it's that sometimes they went a little too subtle. There's a rule of 3s. There really should have been 3 scenes where they really brought it into contrast. And I guess technically there were, but only one of them stands out. The one that they advertised is actually the middle of the scenes. It's where his friend from work comes in saying, it's Recall. You have to shoot this girl of your dreams over here to exit. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in Recall. That is the defining one. That's the obvious one. There were 2 others. When he just gets out of Recall, he talks with his wife, she turns on him. Then, afterwards, much later, he talks with the boss of the Resistance, and there is this incredibly bizarre conversation where they're talking about, who are you? Does it matter who you were, or does it matter who you are now? The first one is the descent into into the fantasy world, that all signs of his previous life were in fact a trap. The last one is an acceptance that it doesn't matter who you are because you can be perfectly happy in the dream world. But those 2 are too subtle, I think. They really should have been played up a little bit more.
And the middle one was kind of discounted for factual inaccuracies. Because there were inaccuracies with the guy's story, I think the audience was sort of left to believe, yeah, that was weird. I mean, whatever.
Which is cool. Don't get me wrong. But I actually think they could have really played it up a little bit more. That said, with the subtlety, they actually did a very good job. So add that up to the cinematography because it never stops telling you that it's recall. But it's not obvious about it, which is great. So that's where we're going to end it. Again, I recommend seeing the movie, but it wasn't what I expected. But it was good. So until next time, we'll see you later.